Hi.
G'day. My name's Odin.
My name's Mick.
We are.
Dumb.
We like... One word at a time.
Okay. This is stupid. Let's get into it. Welcome back, brewers and beer lovers, to Flying Wombat TV. And today is the tasting to figure out, is the recipe that we made, our Mexican Cerveza, better than Corona? Is it better than a Sol? Is it better than its commercial counterparts? And is the Japanese rice lager that we brewed better than a Sapporo, an Asahi, etc.? And then most importantly, which between the two is better than the other? So
which is the best race?
Which is...
Kidding.
We just got cancelled. Yeah. Which is the better lager?
Australian
the Mexican Cerveza? Yeah, the Foster's comes out. Yeah. Actually, I still have a couple cans. Yeah, so then it's like, what wins? Japanese lagers or Mexican Cervezas? Now, let's, we've got a lot of empty glasses. We've got a lot of beer to get through, so...
QB roll.
Let's do it. While Odin comes around and we get started, I'll point out this little machine here. It's the iGulu brewing machine, which is basically a coffee machine for brewing. Mix your ingredients, press start, a couple of weeks later, you get to pour some nice fresh beer. So I know that you guys know how to brew, but if you know someone that you want to get into the brewing bug, this might be the gift to get them there. And if you use our code Flying Wombat on the link down below, you'll get $100 off. Now, let's get started now that the promotions are done.
I'm kidding. Are you gonna...
Here's what we're gonna do. You close your eyes.
Sure.
I'm gonna hand you a beer, because I made the mistake of...
I haven't tasted it
yet. And I made the mistake of telling you which was which before. Well, I've mixed them up now. Do you actually know?
I think that one's the rice. I think that's the lighter one, right?
Maybe. Yeah. Close your eyes. Okay. Close your eyes. So for you guys, the rice lager is ever so slightly lighter than the Mexican counterpart.
Oh, you're edging me right now. Initial Corona, like, it feels Mexican. Let's see if I can tell the difference. Oh, I can't tell the difference. That's hard. That's hard.
Well, do you want me to tell you which is which?
Oh, that is actually hard.
They're very similar.
There is difference.
So here's why I was so keen to do this particular brew day kind of challenge with these styles, is because they are both extremely similar in that they both come from European origin. Yeah. They're both in the same ABV range, they're in the same IBU range, very similar brewing practices. They're both lagers. They're both made to be summer beers, very delicate beers, very light, refreshing beers. So they're about as similar as it can get from opposite sides of the planet. The only major difference being where Mexican lagers are using a bunch of corn, Japanese lagers are using a bunch of rice. And almost in the same ratios as well. That's like the one key difference.
This one has to be the rice one.
That one is the rice.
I think when tasting it,
it
was hard initially, but it is very similar. It's
very similar.
How similar it is.
And remember, there
is a touch that is a bit different.
And they did also both use the same yeast, so even like there's not even ester differences to set them apart, because they both have the same yeast fermentation, same strain, same culture. Actually, they were split.
So it's pretty much, it's just the difference between corn and rice at the end of the day.
Basically. Pretty much. So the corn has much more of a twang to it. Yeah. And then it's got, in my opinion, more residual sweetness. Whereas the rice is a little more neutral and then finishes much drier.
Yeah.
I find the rice lager to evaporate on my tongue a little bit more than the Mexican. The Mexican one is light.
It does have a twang to it compared to...
And that twang's not an off-flavor twang, by the way, just in the way that like Corona just kind of has that
flavor.
Yeah, it's that like slight, I don't know, a twang. I don't know how else to describe that. I guess it's slight acidity and then
you've got to brew the recipe to find out. It's interesting.
Yeah. By the way, guys, can I just say, I know I said it on the brew day videos, but look at that clarity. So this is now 2 weeks each in the keg. That's all it took. So sometimes it just pays off to be a little bit patient. No gelatin in any of this, just pure time and letting it lager out, and just the results are so rewarding. It feels better when you don't cheat.
How long has it been now since it lagered?
2 weeks. It was just in the keg, 2 weeks. That's all it took. I mean, the brew days made the beers very clear. When they went into the fermenter, they were already very clear. Through fermentation, you know, if you want to check out our Patreon, we do all the behind the scenes stuff where we do updates on all the things in progress and new ideas for the channel, link down below. But in that, I was sending it to the guys on Patreon being like, hey, this is like clearing out really, really well. I'm not going to use gelatin now because it just felt like cheating once the beer was that clear on its own naturally. So I felt like you should stick it out.
Beautiful. That is.
It's really pretty.
That is.
It's a real pretty beer.
Which one are you liking the most?
Yeah, that's the question.
That's the like.
That's what we will do first, and then we're gonna taste it against the commercials. Ah, man. I personally think I am enjoying the Mexican slightly more. The Mexican has just that little bit more substance to it. And it's kind of an unfair thing to compare it on because these are meant to be very light beers. That's their purpose. Oh, by the way, Japanese 4.7% and 13 IBUs, and Mexican 4.9%, 12 IBUs.
Isn't that one the Japanese?
No, Mexican. Wait.
No, that's the Japanese. That one's the Japanese.
Hang on.
Yeah, we lost.
No, that's the Mexican.
Yeah.
And then the only other difference besides like the grains was the Mexican used spatla and the Japanese used motueka, which is a New Zealand hop. It should have used Sriracha Ace, but I could not get my hands on Sriracha Ace, which is the traditional commercial Japanese brewing hop. But Motueka New Zealand hop is very similar in profile, very similar alpha acid range, and then very similar just profile in terms of like the zestiness and like the lime and lemon kind of characters that jump out, which it really does.
Yeah, I'm getting more lime flavor as you mentioned there. In the Mexican compared to, like, I can taste that kind of rice profile coming into the beer.
That's the rice.
It's a bit more tame, I feel. Like you mentioned.
That's what I'm saying. The rice lager feels, it feels closer to an Australian lager.
It feels a little bit lighter than the Mexican.
It is definitely feeling lighter in like the weight. Oh, and that's what I mean. The rice lager feels like it dries out the mouth more and evaporates a bit more. Whereas the Mexican lager feels like it lingers a little more, and it's slightly denser in terms of lagers, but you know, slightly denser. I'm thinking I'm preferring the Mexican just because I'm enjoying that little bit of twang that it has and that little bit of extra something that lingers on the palate. Don't get me wrong, like on a super hot day, they're both amazing beers, and maybe the Japanese on a hotter day would be better because it like quenches your mouth a bit more, finishes a little bit drier, which is what they're famous for, but I don't know. Personally, I'm going Mexican. What are you voting?
I think I'd go with the Mexican as well.
Yeah?
Yeah, I like that lime kind of flavor coming through that I'm tasting.
Yeah, which I wasn't expecting either with spatla. Like that's typically a more like a herbal
This
hop.
feels like a Corona with the lime addition.
It does actually, and so you know what I'd really like to, because the thing is
it'll be good to compare.
Because the spelt is not the zesty lime zesty hop. That like Motueka is more lime zesty. So I wouldn't mind doing this again. Same recipe for the Mexican in every way, but swap out the hops so that it's the Motueka going into the Mexican, because I reckon that will lean further into that fresh zest.
You guys
fruit
could
character.
do that at home as well. Just change it around. See
I highly recommend giving that a crack if you're going to brew one of these. Swap the hops, because I think it would take it's more traditional to do it with a German noble hop, but you know, we're home brewers for a reason. We get to create and innovate. So use the zestier hop for that one. I think it'll add.
Yeah, it's very good. It's very good. I'm keen. I think we should compare it with
All right. Time to open some bottles. Now, what do we want to start with, Mexican or?
I reckon since the Mexican was our favorite, let's start there.
Start Mexican? All right, cool. I know that Modelo is like an awesome, very famous, very popular Mexican cerveza. Could not get my hands on one to make this video. I'm very sorry. For the Patreons, I will find a Modelo and then do the comparison for you guys. I just couldn't find it for today.
How big of a difference is that?
Well, that's it. Oh, the clarity is insane. But mine will get clearer. It just needs more time. The color is super similar.
Look very similar. You can, I mean, I guess.
Put it in between them. I think the haziness is throwing off the color slightly.
Yeah. It's still got time to lager, but they all look pretty much the
I reckon.
same.
I reckon it's gonna be.
If you literally jumbled them up, you would not be able to tell which is which.
I honestly think that my Mexican is going to be the exact same color once the clarity clears up.
Let's have a try.
God, that was a terrible pour from me. I'm so sorry. There is no head on that. What have I done?
All right.
I mean, it's a Corona. Like, is it really going to get better?
You're having the Corona.
I'm having the Corona.
What am I having? The
Sol. I forgot how flavorless that is. Oh! I didn't realize that Corona had so much corn aftertaste. I mean, it makes sense. I just never paid attention to it before.
I'm definitely preferring the homebrewed version.
Yeah, 100%. Not even a contest.
Yeah.
It's just got so much. Okay, the Corona's better than the Sol.
Yeah, I think so.
But the homebrew beats them. Which one's the... They all look too similar. Which one's which? I've lost my Corona. My Mexican.
That's rice?
This is Mexican. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it's just got more flavor.
Yeah.
That's really the key difference. It's not that the Corona is a bad beer.
Yeah.
Like, Corona, like, it's not the best beer going around, but it is the style of beer that it is, in that it's light, it's refreshing, it's got corny aftertaste, it's kind of zesty. It's just less of all those things than the version I made.
Your commercial beer at the end of the day.
It's just commercial beer.
Yeah, you put a lime in it, adds a bit more flavour. That's why I think this one is a bit better as well.
Which one was this? Was this the Corona?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
No, that was the Sol.
We've lost count now.
There's too many beers.
There's too many beers.
So far in the rankings, on far left is higher, far right for you guys is lower.
Yeah.
It's gonna go mine, Corona, then Sol. Now let's get some Japanese ones out, and I've run out of Pilsner glasses, so we're stuck with, with kitchen glasses. All right, let's do it. This one's Sapporo.
You can tell?
I think.
Yeah, I think I did the Asahi. No, I don't think I did.
I don't know. I don't know. I think you did the Sapporo, actually. I'm really not sure now. So
I'm pretty sure I did the Sapporo. Yeah.
Okay, big fan of both beers. Have preferred Sapporo more in the past.
Not bad.
Oh yeah, this one is Sapporo.
There's definitely a difference.
Sapporo does have more.
I think I prefer the Sapporo.
Sapporo's got more malt character. All right, now in comparison to mine. Interesting. Okay. Asahi.
There is definitely a difference between all three of them. Bigger difference than the Mexicans, that's for sure.
You know what's weird?
Yeah.
Now I'm tasting these all together. The Asahi feels the most chemically.
Yeah.
Like artificial, you know how when you taste beers that have used like a lot of corn syrup or like dextrose, like simple sugars, and it has that kind of slightly chemical, weird taste to it that you can't quite put your finger on. It's sugar. It's just fermented sugar. It's got that weird chemical taste. Asahi's got that more than the other two, for sure. Sapporo has got more malt character, I think, than mine.
I don't mind the Sapporo.
Is it just me, or does the Sapporo have more maltiness?
It does. It got a little bit more body to it.
Just more that lingering, you know, classic Pilsner malt character. There's just a bit more of that going on. I think mine finishes drier.
I prefer the finish on the homebrew.
Yeah.
Compared to the Sapporo. But I don't mind the flavour.
Yeah, I'm torn here. I think the initial flavour of the Sapporo, the second it hits your tongue in that first gulp, that has better flavour and just more flavour. But then the aftertaste between the three, by far the homebrew is better. It doesn't have that weird chemical lingering aftertaste. It's got that dry evaporation off your tongue.
It's definitely that commercial aftertaste.
It's a commercial aftertaste. And like some of these major commercial breweries do use like a ton of like corn syrup and like sugar syrups to make enormous batches easier. So then by nature of that, they have that, you know, commercial taste. Oh, I'm torn which one. Well, look, I'd probably still go...
I think Asahi's out of the question.
Asahi's out. Asahi's at the bottom. I think well, which one, where does Asahi come for you between the two commercial Mexicans? Wait, what's this one?
Oh, I'd say Asahi. That's my the other Mexican.
Oh, okay.
I'd say Asahi is...
Do you reckon it's at the bottom? I think it might be at the bottom
probably
for me.
Probably at the bottom, yeah. I think I'd go Corona over Asahi.
I kind of think I would now as well, actually. Now tasting them together, which is weird. I always thought I preferred Asahi more.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter. They're all owned by the same company now.
Yeah,
they're all owned by Asahi.
If you're willing to buy the channel, you can.
Yeah, please. Make me rich.
Imagine.
Let me buy a house before I'm 60. I'm going to go my version over the Sapporo, just because that aftertaste from the commercials, I really don't like now that I'm tasting them side by side.
I prefer the aftertaste of this, and so I would go.
Oh man, yeah.
I would go with the aftertaste because you got to finish well.
So if you're talking about like in like percentages over the time that the different flavors roll off your tongue, like the Sapporo is definitely better for that first 30%, but then that lingering thing is just not as pleasant after tasting like a traditional brewed version that was actually just using rice and like real ingredients.
Yeah, you can even smell the difference as well.
You can.
It smells very commercial. This is the thing. I think this is better than the commercial Mexican, so I'd sit it higher than the commercial.
Okay, so in that case, it sounds like what we're doing is we're going Mexican homebrew, or Mexican Cerveza.
Yeah.
Then we're going the Japanese rice lager homebrew. Then we're going Sapporo.
Yeah.
And then Corona, then Sol, then Asahi at the end.
Yeah.
No, I'd put Sol below the Asahi.
You would?
Yeah, I think. Well, I mean.
Is this our tier list?
This is our tier list.
Make a tier list.
Okay, I'm realizing now that we probably should have done the bottles. That actually makes a lot more sense. So Sapporo, Asahi, Sol at the very bottom, and Corona, dead bang in the middle, which feels very accurate.
We are totally not biased as well. This is
pure unbiased opinion. As unbiased as it can get though, honestly. This, as far as any of the beers that I've made and that are on this table go, look, the rice lager is pretty good. It has room for improvement.
Yeah.
This Mexican lager is very, very good. I'm really digging it. Like, I'm 100% brewing a double batch of this one as soon as this keg kicks. It's worth it.
Well, I think we're done. I think we got our tier list, so hopefully we don't get cancelled.
Look, thank you very much, guys, for anyone that is still here and watching. It's been an absolute pleasure doing these mini 3-part series for you guys. And what is coming up next is the Oktoberfest season. So we're not going to tell you what beers we're going to make, but they are definitely going to be German and they're definitely going to be Oktoberfest related. And I think we'll do another 3-part series on that. So we'll do first beer, second beer, tasting together and decide which one we prefer. But after that, we are open to ideas on what we want to brew on the channel. So let us know if there's any beers that you guys have been keen on us trying to make, any experimental stuff, weird stuff.
Yeah.
Throw your ideas out there. Drop them in the comments down below and we'll pop them into the schedule.
All right.
All right. Cheers, mate. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Catch you next time.